That's one big old box. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Flat Thunder channel. My name's Andy, and this big old box, I wasn't even looking for it. It just sort of found me. I was perusing through a very popular online auction site, wasn't even looking for what's inside this box, and it just said, hey, buy me. Well, at the price point, I just couldn't say no. I think we got a good deal, but I'm not 100% sure. We're going to have to see what is hiding inside this box. Stick with us. I'll show you what we bought. By accident. On purpose. I'm not for sure. Here we go. Pretty big box. Team lift. Definitely didn't do that. Handle with care. The box says it wasn't. Keep dry. I think we might have accomplished that one. And this side up, questionable. The box is a little beat up and bruised. I did pop the top off of it the first day it arrived just because I wanted to make sure there were no catastrophic collisions or pieces missing from in there. But other than that, I haven't done anything. Let's pop the rest of this off. It's got these fancy little pull tabs here. And the whole box should disassemble. Big part of me just wants to rip this thing open like a Christmas present. I don't normally buy stuff for myself, but this was the best price I've ever seen on something like this. And I was eyeing it for several years now. Not necessarily this one, but a unit similar to this. Any ideas what you think is in there? This thing weighs about 125 pounds. Ah! Last chance. Drop down in the comments section. Let me know what you think this is if you didn't already. It's going to be pretty evident pretty soon here. Look at that. And some goodies. Handle. Well, I think it was bolted into the skid or pallet here, but it looks like that has long since been broken out. So let's try to lift this thing off of here. Handle. Instructions that are, not even worth having really, but who reads those? The unfortunate part is every time I would look up an American-made unit of this style with a ratchet mechanism for sale locally or for sale at an online auction site, the price point was just way out of reach. Some of them are in the like $500 to $1,000, and yeah, I just can't justify that cost. And I'm super cheap also. So here we are with our dirt cheap import model. Hopefully we can get her assembled and do some bushing presses with it. Maybe even we could have used it on that Bendix disassembly on the starter for old Margaret. That's one of the real reasons why I was interested in looking for one, because we had to get it in the lathe, and that's not how the lathe was intended to work. If you haven't seen that video, I'll share a link down in the description. We basically use the tailstock of the lathe to act as a press, more or less, to get that Bendix disassembled from the starter motor. See what the fit of this is gonna be. Surprisingly, not too hateful. Well, that part works. That's interesting. Says use kerosene. I'll just use my old pal WD-40 to remove the rust preventative coating. Better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be covered in a nice thick layer of Cosmoline. I believe I've seen this raised number 3 casting before on another unit. So they probably bought or had an old unit, possibly an American-made unit. They just reversed the casting. I don't see any like major noticeable casting defects upon first glance. Definitely some machining errors in here. I'll get you in and show you. I mean, just things don't fit quite as nice as what they should. But you're gonna expect that. Can't hate on that too much. This tool plate does have some imperfections. It's just a crude casting. There actually is some porosity holes in the bottom of it and mismatched. And these slots would be nice if they were machined out. But you know, you can't expect everything with the quality. You can't expect everything with the price point that this thing was at. I paid $220 for this, free shipping, so that's one heck of a deal. I could not find any of them, even import models from other manufacturers, for less than like $290, plus shipping was added in on top of that. This being $220 plus free shipping, that blew me away. Now, we haven't really used it yet. This is just first impressions. We do need to come up with a way to mount this somewhere in the shop. Right now, I don't have a good area. We need to expand the pallet rack. And if you didn't notice in the previous video, we picked up a taller used vertical air compressor. So we actually have some air power in the shop now. But we need to find a place to mount that. I think that's going to go up on a platform directly behind me, a raised pallet racking style platform, and then possibly mount this somewhere off to the side of one of the support legs. It needs to be pretty robust because it is a 3-ton unit. You don't want to be tipping over your workbench or tipping over whatever it's attached to. Hopefully the pallet rack, once she's loaded down, will be packing a pretty heavy load. We got an Arbor Press. All right. So if I hold it still enough on the workbench, just take a look at this. I don't know if you can tell, it's walking in and out because it's machined crooked or on there crooked. And this piece has quite a bit of slop just from the fit and finish in the shaft. So I have a part from the little mini wheel horse, the 704 wheel horse we got up in the rack. Now I bought a replacement pedal because this is what was on it. And it was kind of goober welded there or brazed. I'm not for sure what that is. But this is a cast part, and that doesn't hold very well. So the new part that I got has this guy, but it doesn't have the little catch installed. So let's pop this cotter pin out of there and use the Arbor Press to press this guy out of there so we don't pound on it. When you pound on it, you might mushroom it out or break it the way these are. I believe this is mild steel, but the bracket itself is cast. So we'll press it out of this one, clean it up, and then we'll press it into the new one. Ta-da! Well, that was a little clumsy because it was the first time we used it, but we got it pressed out of there without beating on this. Now this piece was scrap, but if it wasn't, we could have risked damaging it. This shaft actually has a damage spot in it. To do this right, we should build that up with a weld, turn it down, or replace this pin on here with a new one. For now, we're just gonna press it back in there. See how she feels. Nice. Not really a press fit, but once she popped over the end, she just kind of... One of the real keys here is this part is damaged, and there's a crack right there. I believe that... I don't recall if that's a roll pin or what that is. That might be just a lube hole. But this was perfect. And then when I pounded the original piece out, because it did not match the piece that was on the tractor, I forget exactly what was wrong with it. I removed the one that came with the pedal and I cracked this housing. So if I had this press when I disassembled this probably 2-3 years ago, I likely would have not damaged the housing. Look at that. So now, yeah. Old number 3, import model special. We got us an Arbor Press. It doesn't have the best fit, form, and function, but it does actually press items. And once we get it mounted to a solid structure, I think we'll be able to use this to our advantage and definitely be above and beyond the old hammer and bench vise combo that we normally have. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Leave your questions and comments in the section below. And don't forget to punch that subscribe button your way out. Thanks for watching, everyone.